Okay, so the other day I read Proverbs chapter 18 and it completely changed my life. And I want to hop on here just to share with you guys a couple things that I've learned from Proverbs 18, and I think that you guys can benefit from this. All right, so let's go ahead and head with a prayer first. Father, I just thank you, Lord, for the wonderful opportunity, one, to film, but two, Lord, to share the wisdom and knowledge that you have given me, Lord, and that I believe that you showed me. Father, I pray, Lord, as I read your word, please bless it, Lord. Please guide me and lead me with your spirit. In your name, amen. Okay, so this is Proverbs chapter 18. This is verse 1, and it says, "Unfriendly people care only about themselves. They lash out at common sense." And I wrote down, some people some people hate to be corrected and want things done their way versus the most logical way. And a prime example could be some business owners put their needs and wants above the business. Basically, they're paying for themselves versus feeding the business. And that's how a business stars, and that's how a business dies out, because they choose to feed themselves versus the business. Meaning they choose to take care of themselves, pay themselves a high salary, and forget about the business completely, which is completely unacceptable, right? So how can you gain so much money, and how can you gain so much wealth through a business, and yet you're willing to forfeit it all just to feed yourself a little bit extra? Okay, that's why some people, they pay themselves, let's say $30,000 or $40,000 if they make a couple hundred grand, right? They're not going to be over leveraging, or not over leveraging. They're not going to be they're not going to be greedy and take so much money, like $60,000-$70,000, which could possibly hurt the business a lot. And I wrote down, a lot of us hop into business wanting a paycheck, but wait, what? A lot of us hop into business wanting a paycheck because that's what we're used to. But then reality hits, and we're often the last ones to get paid. And that's true. In the business, everyone and everything gets paid first but you. Right? So you get the money from a client. You gotta do payroll. You gotta pay taxes. You gotta do ads. You gotta do sales. You gotta pay your sales team. You gotta pay your taxes. You gotta pay your accountant. You gotta pay anything. Everyone and their mother gets paid first before you do. And at the end, you're probably left with not much, right? And of course, you gotta have some reserve as well, because God forbid something does happen. You gotta have your money ready, right? You gotta have spare money in the bank, so that way, if you need to liquidate it, or your assets, if you have money in your assets, liquidate it as soon as possible, so that way you could throw it into the business, so that way it doesn't starve and die, right? And I believe that can correlate to Proverbs 9, chapter 8. Where is it? I believe, can we speak? Whoa. I believe that can translate to Proverbs chapter 9, verse 8. "So do not bother correcting the mockers. They will only hate you. But correct the wise, and they will love you." And verse 9 says, "Instruct the wise, and they will be even wiser. Teach the righteous, and they will learn even more." And I completely agree with that, right? So don't even bother correcting people who don't want to be corrected, right? They're always going to mock you. You know, it says right here perfectly, don't bother correcting mockers. They will only hate you, right? So it's when you try to correct somebody, hey, listen, I don't think that you should I don't think you should pay yourself $70,000 if you're making 100 grand in the business. That's completely foolish. You know, pay yourself a little bit small, maybe like 10,000, 20,000, maybe max. You know, of course, I don't know myself. I'm still learning, but that's what I believe, that, you know, an entrepreneur should pay themselves, or not even at all. You know, I believe you should completely invest your money back into the business, reinvest everything back into the business, because if you got 100 grand, just imagine if you got like $1 million, $2 million, just because you're putting all your capital back into the business. You're not even taking no profit for yourself. Look at Amazon. They weren't even profitable for, I think it was 7 or 10 years. And then now Jeff Bezos is a billionaire, right? I'm pretty sure at first he didn't get to pay himself first at all, right? Everyone got paid but him. But now he's reaping the benefits, because I believe he didn't pay himself at all, right? And then the second part of the verse 8 says, "But correct the wise, and they will love you." If you correct somebody and you call them out like, "Hey, listen, I don't think that you should pay yourself $70,000 out of the 100 grand that you just made from your business," if you sit down with them and you reason with them, they're most likely going to listen to you if they're wise, because they know that they're not in the position, and that you are in the position that they want to be in, and they will listen to you, right? That's why I believe it's super important to have some mentors in your life, people who've done it before you, can show you and can guide you, right? In that example, like I said earlier, let's say you made 100 grand off of a business venture, or or your business, excuse me, made 100 grand and 70,000 is your take home pay. You decide to take that home and leave 30,000 as reserves. I think that's foolish, right? Take at least 30% of that, put that into reserves, and then you could take, let's say, $5,000, $10,000 for yourself, maybe, not even. But to grow and expand the business a bit more, I would suggest literally just throwing it back into the business, 100%. Don't even take profits for the first year or two, right? A lot of us hop into business wanting a paycheck when in reality, everyone gets paid first but us, right? And verse 9 says, instruct the wise and they will be even wiser. Teach the righteous and they will learn even more. So that first part of verse 9, instruct the wise and they will be even wiser. When you tell somebody, hey, I don't think that you should keep most of your money for yourself, reinvest that back into the business, so that way, 1, you can have a better sales team, 2, a better marketing team, and number 3, so that way you can produce more for your business, get more clients, and get more output for your input, right? And I think that's super important in business. You know, whether if you're just starting a lawn care or nail salon or something, I think it's super important to reinvest everything back into your business, so that way it can 10x, 100x, 1000x, right? Because ultimately in business, that's what you want. You want to constantly be growing every single day, not slowing down, right? So, verse 2 says, fools have no interest in understanding. They only want their own opinions. And I wrote down, entrepreneurs want, verse 2 says, this is what I got from verse 2. Entrepreneurs, when they first start off, they think, wow, holy crap, I can't even read my own handwriting. Okay, so this is what I got from Proverbs 18 verse 2. Entrepreneurs, when they first start the business, they think they know it all, but sometimes they can end up delaying their success and can cost them years of hardship. It's wise to seek many advisors and counsels, and that's from Proverbs 15 verse 22. Would it be wise to have mentors? Wow, I can't even read. So it would be wise. I'm gonna start this over because I'm like, bro, I can't even read. Okay, so this is what I got from Proverbs 18 verse 2. Entrepreneurs, when they first start off, they think they know it all, but sometimes they can end up delaying their success, and this can cost them years of hardship. It is wise to seek many advisors and counsel, and that's from Proverbs 15 verse 22. It would be wise to have mentors who have done what you're trying to do. And I completely agree with that. I do think that you should get mentors. Myself, I have one mentor, and it's like one of my closest friends, and we talk and I tell him, hey, you're my competitor. And he tells me, hey, listen, Jose, this is what you should do. This is what you should not be doing. Focus on this and go all in on this sector right here. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do, 100%, right? So I look at him as my competition, and if he's posting 3 times a day, my goal is to post 6 times a day to do double the production he's doing, so that way I can have the same results or a little bit better, right? And I'm literally reinvesting everything, my time, my efforts, money that I get from my job. I'm going to reinvest everything back into the business, because ultimately that's the goal, to grow the business, right? That's what I need to do. That's what we need to do as entrepreneurs. Forget ourselves. Let's be humble and forget ourselves for now. Throw everything, focus your 100% on the business. That way it can grow and your customers can be happy. You can get more customers, make them happy, make more money, okay? And also, I think the second part of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 2, I think the second part could be, and this is what I got from Myron Golden, and I love it. I could be butchering this, but this is what I received from it. Myron Golden said, it is, but I can't even read. Holy crap. Okay, so Proverbs chapter 18, verse 2, this is the second part. This is what I received from it, from Myron Golden. I'm maybe chopping it up a little bit, but initially it says, does your marketplace really need your product? And that kind of made me question. I'm like, dude, is my product even worth it, right? Like, do I have some kind of value to provide for the market? Or am I just throwing it out there just because I think it looks pretty? I think it looks cool. I think it looks amazing. Who cares what I think? It's what the market wants, right? Supply and demand. Like, you need to meet that demand, right? And it might be a limited, and your product may be limited to a certain kind of group, right? Maybe it might be, let's see, I don't know. Let's just take an example like single mothers or something like that, right? Single mothers, they have all the stress in the world. They have everything on their shoulders. They're taking care of the baby. They're cleaning the house. They're doing this. They're doing that. All the chores, walking the dog, this, and that. And if your product is specifically for them, it's specifically for them. It's not going to be for, like dudes at the gym or, fathers working construction or something like that, right? So sometimes your product can be for a limited small group, but yeah, what the heck? Okay. And maybe that's why some businesses don't even last that long. They have no real need or demand for the product, right? Sometimes, again, we think that something's pretty. Like if we do arts and crafts, we think that's an amazing thing to do just because we're good at it and just because we get good feedback from our loved ones or from friends. We think that automatically that's success. Oh, that's great. Like I got 30 people in my life telling me I should go start this arts and craft business. Cool, you can do that. Not saying you can't, but does the market need that, right? Does it meet a demand? If it doesn't, then honestly, I think you're just wasting your time. Okay, and Okay, so this is verse 3 of Proverbs chapter 18. Doing wrong leads to disgrace, and scandalous behavior brings contempt. And what I got from that was, it's not worth taking shortcuts in business. This leads to untrustworthiness, and people don't want to deal with you. And this can heavily affect your business, right? And I think that when it comes to smaller businesses, right, let's just say you're making candles, and let's say you're sending out a product to a customer, and they receive the wrong scent, or they receive one item less. Something's automatically in their head. They're like, you know what? I'm not gonna deal with this person. I don't like this person, and I'm gonna tell my friends and my family, hey, stay away from this small business because they didn't send me the right order. They didn't send me the right scent. They didn't send me the right whatever the case may be, right? And fortunately, that does happen. Unfortunately, that does happen. You have some people who just want to see you burn. You have some people who just really want to see you burn, But this could really affect your business heavily, a lot. It's sad, honestly. And I put, for a prime example, could be, let's say a business meeting is supposed to start at 3:00 and you show up at 3:15. This shows, number one, that you're incompetent, but number two, you're not trustworthy and you're not keeping your word. And again, I wrote down, word of mouth can't be good for you in this scenario, right? So if you're late to a meeting, if you're late to your appointment, people are going to associate you with being late and being incompetent. How can they trust you to run a business, right? How can they trust you to be a partner on their project? How can they trust you to be an investor in their niche, or in their or in the startup, right? How can they trust you with that? That's why I believe it's super important to have good integrity and a good reputation, because those can go a very, very long way. If a meeting starts at 3:00 and you show up at 2:50, they're like, hey, you showed up early. No, thank you for showing up early. We don't have a lot of people doing this. And this shows, number one, that you're competent, but number two, that you're always on time and you're also trustworthy as well. And that's what a lot of people look in business for: trustworthiness, integrity, and if you're going to show up, whether or not if you're going to show up. Holy crap. In verse 4, wise words are like deep waters. Wise words are like deep waters. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook. I wrote down, if you take heed to your own mentor's advice, you'll probably save yourself time, money, and unnecessary stress. Listen to them, and your business will flourish. I think that's 100% true. If someone is doing it way better than you, and they've done it multiple times, why would you not take their advice? You can literally save yourself so much time, so much effort, so much energy, so much money just by listening to one person, right? I believe that's why the Bible says God gives grace to the humble but despises the proud, or something along those lines, right? And I 100% agree with that verse, because that's literally you humbling yourself to God, but you're humbling yourself in the scenario with your mentor. Hey, listen, let's call him Josh. Hey, Josh, I'm struggling with this right here. What do you think I should do? oh, well, Jose, you should cut back on this, do a little bit more on here, do more cold outreach, do more warm outreach, whatever the case may be. Cut down a little bit on this, do more outreach, and from there, that's when your business can grow. That's what I did when I was in your stage, when I was in your shoes, and I was in stage 3 of the business. This is what I was doing. This is what I was primarily focusing on, and that's how I got X result, because I did this, right? It's simple. It's as simple as that. You know, it's easier said than done. I know sometimes we can let our pride and ego get in the way, but listen to your mentor, listen to the counsel that's around you, listen to the people that have done it before you. That's all I gotta say, right? So this is what I got from Proverbs chapter 18, verse 7. Okay, it says, fools hurt themselves when they speak. Their own words trap them. And verse 7, this is what I got. I feel like most business owners speak bad about... Wow, I can't even read that. Oh, there we go. So I got from verse 7, I said this. I feel like most business owners speak bad about themselves or are harsh on themselves. And think about this will help them. Wow, holy crap, I can't even read, dude. Anyway, long story short, this is what I got from Proverbs chapter 18, verse 7. I feel like a lot of business owners speak bad about themselves and harshly to themselves. And this right here isn't bringing them life at all. Why are you talking down about yourself? Don't say, hey, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. I don't know why I'm doing this. I was talking to one of my good friends, and he said that. And I was like, hey, listen, just because it's not working right now doesn't mean it's not working in the future, right? It's working on you. God's working on you and through you, so that way you can become the person you need to become, right? That's what I truly believe wholeheartedly. And this is the process that we need to go through, right? There's probably going to butcher it, but there's a story. It's called, I guess it's called the silversmith. But long story short, there's a woman who's told the silversmith, like, hey, how do you know when the silver's ready? When I can see my reflection in it. And I believe at that time and point, when God knows we're ready, is when he can see himself in us, when we have his attributes, when we have his attitude, when we have, just following him in general. I think that would definitely lead to greater good, for us as business owners, that way we can reflect our creator, our God, right? I do truly think that. And I believe the devil wants to keep people in bondage and from making their full potential. Not only that, but keep them from growing and expanding. These distractions draw you further and further away from God and from the business and from the purpose. And I agree 100%. There's going to be a lot of trials, tribulations. There's going to be a lot of distractions. Myself, I'll be honest with you, I deleted my personal Instagram for now. I just logged out. I'm not even going to touch that for a while. I deleted Google. I deleted my Twitter account. So much distraction in this world. It's not even funny. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday. We were talking about how I get distracted easily and how lazy I am. He's like, yeah, that's exactly why I just deleted social media, because I don't need that in my life. And anything that's not bringing me life or any value to my Christian walk or to my business, I'm going to get rid of it, right? That's not what I need to be focusing on. I need to focus on one thing and one thing only. That is Christ, number one. But number two, this business, right? Focus on this business mostly. This is my goal, and I need to make this my priority. This is like my child. My business is my child. And how can I let my child starve? How can I let the business starve, right? That's not good at all. It's not good for, one, the kingdom purpose. Two, it's not good for other people and blessing them. And number three, it's not good for myself, right? But take myself out of the picture. It doesn't really benefit other people if I'm being lazy, if I'm not doing 100%, if I'm not putting my full efforts into this business at all, right? I don't think it's honoring God at all. Being lazy, being foolish with my time, being wasteful. Right now, it's what, 10:20 something or 10:30? Oh, wow, never mind, 10:57. Right? And I just wasted like 2 hours earlier just doing nothing at all, right? Literally nothing. And I woke up and just chose not to take action. When I could have taken action, I could have read my Bible, I could have done my devotional, could have made this video a bit earlier, maybe a bit longer instead of 20 minutes. But hey, of course, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still going to go for it no matter what. But obviously, this isn't an excuse for myself at all, okay? But I definitely do think that there's a lot of distractions in this world, and that's what the devil wants you to think. Jesus said it best in Matthew chapter 7, verse 21, I believe it is. No. Wait. Never mind. So there's so much distraction in this world, it's not even funny at all. That's why I deleted my Instagram. That's why I deleted my Google and my Twitter, right? I logged out of my old accounts. That is not my business at all. Got rid of them, whatever, I don't care. I really can care less about them. But long story short, there's so much distraction in this world that people have less time to focus on God, less time to focus on the business, what's right in front of them, and they wonder why they're not getting ahead in life, okay? And for myself, I find social media very, very distracting. That's why I deleted my personal, and I just, like, forget about it. You know, like, I'm not even focusing on that right now. I'm focusing on the capital ledger right now. This is what I'm going to be doing for, like, I don't know how long, but I'm going to keep on going no matter what, right? Like, this is something I need to grow, and I believe me focusing on this business will help out a whole bunch of people, right? It can help them maybe possibly get out of poverty, possibly get them closer to Christ, which is always the goal, and which can possibly help them grow their business, right? That's always the goal with the capital ledger. It's always going to be the goal when it comes to anything, right? Just to help a bunch of people out, and that's what I love.